So in this tutorial we're going to do some basic body sculpting, and the areas I'm going to focus in on are going to be, we're just going to nudge in the hips a little bit, and with the hip we're just going to jut it out a little bit to the left, and of course we're going to lengthen the legs a tad as well. And to achieve this we're going to be using a combination of the Liquify tool and also the warp tool and or the free transform tool. So the first thing I'm going to do is select the torso and the hips and bring them into the Liquify filter. So I need the marquee tool, so the M key, and I'll make a selection of the torso. I'll leave the legs out of it just for now. And I'm going to go up to Filter, Liquify. Now I need to increase my brush size a little bit, so I'll just slide it along here. And that's not too bad, that's pretty good. So now I'll just, making sure that I'm on my forward warp tool here, I'm going to just bring the hips in the tiniest amount. Just like that. And a little bit on the left hand side. Now with the hip here on the left hand side, I'm going to increase my brush size with the shift right bracket key, so I increase the brush in increments of 20, and maybe a little bit bigger than that actually. And now I'm just going to pull the hip out a little bit to the left. Reduce my brush a little bit. And just move it a little bit more. There we go. And click OK. Command D to deselect, and a quick before and after. Before and after. And although it's subtle, it's an improvement. Next we're going to lengthen the legs. So once again with my marquee tool selected, I'm going to click and drag, select all the legs. And I want to work on a separate layer for this, so I'm going to hit Command J, and it's going to copy those legs onto a different layer. Now I think you can probably get away with just using the free transform tool here. So Command T, and now I'll just drag the bottom of the anchor point here down to perhaps about there. Now one thing we don't want to do is we don't want to lengthen too much, and hit enter. Now I'm just going to zoom in at the top of these legs here, at the top of where if I option click on the eye icon here on the legs layer, and just double check this line here to make sure I haven't pulled it off center a little bit, so it does blend into the layer underneath. So I'll zoom right in on the fingers here, option click on the eye icon again, just to bring the whole image back, before and after. Although there's a slight distortion here, it's really nothing to worry about. I'll scroll over to the other side just to make sure it's the same issue there. Before, after. Before, after. Command 0 to fit to window. I'll do a quick before and after. Before and after. And that looks good. And I think I'll rename this New Legs. So there's some very simple basic body remodeling. In a later tutorial I'm going to show you some advanced techniques which is going to involve a little bit of lateral thinking, and will hopefully show you some ways of getting around any problem you come across.